10, to 10 in the House or something like that. It couldn't even be 10. It's like 6 people dissented in the House, 6 Republicans, of course. Funny how you pass a bipartisan bill and all the Democrats vote for it because it's bipartisan and they finally agreed on something, but you still have 6 Republicans who go, nah, I don't want that. Same thing in the House. Anyway, that's an overwhelming majority. The only question is, do they have the balls to override Trump's veto? That's the thing. So he can veto it, but they can override it. But even if they don't override it, Biden's still president 10 days later, and he'll, of course, sign whatever and then push for another even bigger bill, which is what he's already said he's going to do. No matter what Trump does, he thinks we need a lot more stimulus. So obviously good for the market. But it's the same good for the market that it's been since we started talking about a $2 trillion package a couple of months ago. This is now whittled down to a $900 billion package. If Trump gets his way, it'll be a $1.3 billion package. Not Trump gets his way, but if it goes back to $2,000 per person, that'll bump it up to about 1.3 billion. Trillion matters. And that's good for the market. That should get us through a quarter, right? And so spring is saved. Even with the crappy Christmas, spring will be saved. And then you're into Q2, and when Biden's president, we'll probably get more stimulus. And the logic will be that it's the last 3 months before the vaccines start taking effect in Q2 of next year. And they're going to say, why should we let the economy fall apart when we could save it for just a couple of trillion more dollars? So next year, another $4 trillion worth of stimulus on top of all the stimulus we had now. And we buy ourselves a recovery, or a recovery of sorts. I'm not sure how sticky it'll be, but we'll see what will happen. But then, so is that good for stocks? Yes, it's good for stocks, but is it so good for stocks that you should just keep going higher and higher and higher, and no matter what the last number was, keep going higher again? No, that was the bubble mentality of 1999. That was the bubble mentality of the financial crisis with the banks and the housing market. Same thing. I would sit there and say, why would this oil company be worth this much money? When oil was $100 a barrel, people were paying insane values for oil companies. And I was like, first of all, people can't afford this on a sustained basis. You can't afford a $100 barrel of oil filling up your car. So on and so forth. We didn't have electric then. We barely had hybrids then. We were basically screwed and paying $100 for a tank of gas. And you're like, how long can that continue? How long can oil keep being the entire economy? And what were we doing at the time? We were refinancing our homes to pay for our gasoline. That's what we were doing. We were refinancing houses because there was the housing boom. People were flipping houses, cashing in their houses, refinancing their houses. That was dumping money into the economy, drove the market up just like a stimulus, right? Just the same thing. Drove the market up higher and higher and higher, especially building stocks, banking stocks, oil stocks was driving the whole market. And then the whole thing fell apart. Then the wheels came off the bus and the whole thing collapsed really hard, really fast. 2000, not the same thing. In 2000, we were actually being driven by a lot of foreign money coming in. America was by far the leader with the internet stuff. We had all the big internet companies. Everybody wanted to invest here. Money was pouring in from all over the place. The NASDAQ went wild. It dragged the other indexes up with it. People were paying hundreds of times the valuation for tech stocks, and then it all unraveled and collapsed in an instant. All right. Now we are in a crisis. To paper up the crisis, we are dumping trillions and trillions of dollars of stimulus on the economy. We are getting ourselves back to neutral at best. Look, this is income. Okay. So here I am, month to month change. So here I am making $100, 101, then minus 2.5. So now I'm making, can't do math. 101 minus 2.5 is 98.5. Then it goes to 90. Then I'm back to 99.5. Now I'm back to 99, and now I'm back down to 98. So in 5 months, basically, say for 6 months from here, I have lost 2% of my income. It's lost. It's not coming back. You know, not easily. It's very hard to get that money back. So you see these kind of changes and look at the trend. This is not good. This is a real economy. This is what's actually happening to people. All right, you know, you and I don't make 2% less. We don't. It doesn't affect our lifestyles. Other people make 2% less. That's it. That's their line. You people live paycheck to paycheck minus 2% doesn't really cut it. I think more than half the country lives paycheck to paycheck at this point. You know, the underlying economics are not good. The durable goods were up 0.9%, but they expected it to be better than that. More like 1.5%, something like that. Personal income was, look at it, down 1.1%. They said down -3. So all these forecasts the Fed does are based on this number. And it's actually down 1.1%, which is 3 times worse. You know, last month it was half of what it was here. This is last month, but wait. Oh no, this is 0.6. So yeah, here's last month. Here we are now, twice as bad as last month. They said it was going to be better. They predicted it would be up here, and it's actually down here. That's how much of a miss it was. So these forecasters have no idea what's going on, and the policymakers therefore have no idea what's going on. They're not doing the right things to help the economy. I mean, generally, we wrote about it yesterday, what's being bailed out. I don't disagree with the way they're bailing people out, but there's also some things that are stupid, like why are we flying empty planes? Why are we paying the airlines to fly empty planes? Why don't you just instead make a simple exception on their routes that say you don't have to fly that many planes? You know, you can fly a minimum to maintain your route. So in other words, we must have a plane that goes from Dallas to Pittsburgh, but we don't have to fly 5 planes a day with 10 people on each plane. We could fly 1 plane a day with 50 people on it, and everybody would just suffer and be inconvenienced. But why spend all this money flying empty planes around, pretending to have a business that's not there? You know, at least the movie theaters have the decency to be closed for the most part. You know, like they're not pretending to have shows. Broadway's not like running shows with empty houses. You know, it's just weird. I mean, and they're getting a bailout, of course. But I'm saying the airlines are a very cash-intensive industry. I mean, they spend a lot of money flying these planes around. Why are they doing that? It's a complete waste, and then we're bailing them out to keep doing it. Not only that, though, but they're giving no breaks to the passengers. I guess you don't really want to encourage people to fly, but why are you paying the same amount of money to fly on an empty plane that you pay to fly in a full plane? It makes no sense. It's supposed to be something. When prices go up, they tell you it's kind of an auction, right? But prices never go down. They don't ever go lower. They only go higher. So it's an auction when they have a lot of people who want it, but when their planes are empty, excuse me, swallowed some tea. When they don't have, you know, when they have too many people, they'll jump up the prices and tell you all this stuff. But when it comes down, when the plane's not full, they don't have to say, oh, hey, only $15. So we will see what happens. Just not particularly pleased with the overall economic picture, and I know it doesn't seem to matter because here we are. We're freaking 3,300 basically on the Dow. The Nasdaq is. Well, here's the chart. Where's the chart? You know, we're back. We're still at 37 on the S&P. Actually 37.10 right now. The Nasdaq is 12.8. Wait, how is this thing so far behind? That's terrible. It's actually 12.8 right now. Oh, unless the futures are just behind that. I can't get Thinkorswim working on this machine. I got to get this whole thing fixed, which I think I said last time. Russell 2000 also. I did short the Russell at 2000. It's well over that now too. So we will see And oil, we had that popped up back to 48.50. That's actually kind of a good short. 48.50 on oil is not a bad place to play it short. It's tricky into the holidays, but this is not a big, Christmas is not that big of a travel holiday. I think I have the number this morning. It's not nothing. 85 million Americans expected to travel. So if you think about that, that's 85 divided by 330 is 25%. So 25% of the people are traveling. 75% of the people, on the other hand, 75% of the people are not traveling for Christmas. So 75% of people are having Christmas at home. So it's not a huge number, although I guess in a normal year it's hard. Well, I think they said, wait, 29% down. So yeah, that's 29% less than usual. So it's not like everybody travels for Christmas, but yeah, about a quarter of the people visit their family for Christmas, right? You know, and the other people are being visited, so you don't travel. You know, some years you go there, some years they come here. But that's off, basically off 30%. So what's off 30%? Well, hotels are off 30%. Fuel consumption is off 30% for the traveling portion of the fuel consumption. You know, hotel stays, restaurants, things like that, entertainment, but also the gift buying. If people aren't traveling and aren't going out to see some other family, the gifting will be a lot more subdued. You know, and again, you have to realize where we are. We're in the investing class. We're in the top 10% at least for the most part. And we don't think of it that way, like we're still spending gifts and so on and so forth. But other people are cutting back. You know, it's different when you show up at the house with the gifts and then put it under the tree and blah, blah, blah. And people are just buying shit on Amazon and sending it. Look at this picture of this mall. That is frickin' Santa Monica, California. It's crazy. And that's not like a 6 a.m. thing to say you can see from the sun. I mean, so it's basically the middle of the day. I mean, that's dead. That is dead, dead, dead. And you know, that was only December 8th, which was a couple of weeks ago. And so a couple of guys in the chat room said they've seen pretty crowded malls. But and I live in Boca Raton, Florida. It's crazy anyway. My blog last night, I walked down Atlantic Avenue, which is where all the touristy places are and the restaurants, and they were packed. Everything was packed. The restaurants were packed, inside and outside. No spacing at all. No social distancing. I was looking for a place. I was looking purposely because I was thinking of a place that my mom could come into town. Usually I go to. She lives down the road a bit, and I was going to ask her to come over to my town, but I'm like, she can't come to my town. It's way too crowded. It's much too dangerous. People just aren't taking this seriously. It's really tragic. I mean, it's just, you look at the numbers. Look at this. This is now that people are locking down again. You see how quickly it becomes effective to lock down. It's just our idiotic refusal to do so. So Florida, we're refusing to do so. We're not locking down. The governor just today was having some big fight about it. I forgot what it was. He wouldn't enforce something, or he didn't. Oh, I know what it was. It was something like idiotic. Like he didn't want a law that said healthcare workers in nursing homes had to wear masks. Something really insane like that, because if you mandate that they wear masks, then the employer has to provide it, as opposed to it being their choice, and that would cost them the homes money. So they pay off Newsom and say, hey, let's make sure we don't have this law. Okay, it has to be voluntary that they wear their masks, because if it was a law, the employer would have to provide the masks, just like in a hospital or whatever. They'd have to have masks, they have to have gloves, but they don't. It's voluntary. So only the workers who are paranoid about getting sick are the ones who, it's so ridiculous. And meanwhile, the people who have parents in there should be suing the crap out of these people for not maintaining a safe environment. I mean, the nursing homes are one of the top places that spread the virus. It's crazy. And in California, I got a friend who's got his mother in a nursing home. You can't go in. Once a week, you get to go in, but they have you tested and they disinfect you and they spray you and they make you take off your shoes and take off everything. Not everything, but take off your shoes and whatever, then they spray you down. I mean, they are so paranoid about infections, and you still have to stay 6 feet away from your mother. It's crazy. But I will tell you, I had a friend of mine, his sisters wanted to go to a wedding, and they were basically dead set on going to a wedding in Louisiana. They drove over from Florida, and he said no frickin' way. They didn't want to listen to him. They were going to take his mother, their mother, but he put his foot down and said, no way are you taking mom to a wedding. That's insane. So long story short, they both came back with COVID. Both sisters have COVID now, and thank God they didn't go with their mother, because they would have been in a car for 2 hours, for 8 hours or whatever it takes to go to Louisiana, to driving together and breathing the same air after getting infected at the wedding they never should have gone to. This is totally insane. There's like, it's so illogical. I don't even know what to say about it. I mean, it's just crazy. COVID, I mentioned the other day, is now the leading cause of death in America, more than all other causes of death combined. Okay, for everyone who dies of cancer and who has a heart attack and dies and has something else, even accidents, whatever, lump them all together, and that's how many people are dying of COVID every single day. We've doubled the death rate in the United States already. And the markets are record highs. There's really no logic. I mean, the logic is, yeah, of course, we're pouring, our solution to the COVID crisis is to spend trillions and trillions of dollars stimulating the economy and pretend there's no crisis. As much as we can, we are pretending there's no crisis. We are at all costs, literally at all costs, we are avoiding a shutdown. We will not shut our retail stores down. We will not shut down our service stores. We will not declare a national emergency, because it would be upsetting to the economy, because it would make businesses upset, even though we're bailing the businesses out anyway. And if you logically looked at the health cost, forget the human cost, because that's not something they like to calculate, but if you just look at the healthcare cost of dealing with these patients, and the economic cost of people being sick and unable to work, and the economic cost of the prolonged virus and the half-ass lockdown that we're doing, a short, real lockdown of 3 months would be much, much better than what we're doing. We've never had a real lockdown. And like I was saying, my town, every restaurant, because it's the height of the season, we're a tourist town. Every bar, every restaurant is packed as if it was nothing going on. And in Florida, there's no spacing tables. There's no special regulations like that. Interestingly, they encourage people to put outside tables. So they suspended the outdoor regulations of putting people outside. So in other words, so now, which is kind of nice, but it's weird, because now the restaurants in my town, which used to be very strictly limited to a certain amount of tables per space on the sidewalk, now they've spread, and they've all gotten permission from their retail neighbors. Like if somebody's next to like a handbag store, the handbag store says, sure, I don't care if you have tables here. So most of them have gotten permission, and so now the whole sidewalk all the way up and down the town is littered with tables. But the restaurant still inside has just as many people, all full. So all they've done is basically double the capacity of people in the town. It's so strange. And some of the restaurants have those cover things, like they'll have a plasticky sort of enclosure or something like that. But then I'm like, well, what's the point of this? You're not really outside then. You're inside a sealed area, which probably has very poor ventilation because it wasn't designed architecturally to have good ventilation. You just threw basically a big piece of plastic over the outside of your building. And that's just crazy. It's just so now we have more people, there are more people now dining in my town than ever before. There are more people coming to my town every night than ever before during the pandemic. It's so nuts. I gotta tell you, it's just the craziest thing going on. And nonetheless, though, you know, I'm in a huge tourist trap of a town. Surrounding towns, you know, where life is more normal, they are hurting, and those stores are closing, and there's empty storefronts everywhere, and restaurants are going out of business. And, you know, Black Friday came and went. Was it not a good shopping time for the retailers at all? Christmas is looking like another disaster. These guys are going to be negative going into next year. That's not how stores work. Usually retail store, the reason it's called Black Friday is because Black Friday is the day where retail stores turn a profit in November. They're not, that gives them then enough money to turn a profit. Then they store up their cash, and then they go into the lean months in the spring and until the summertime and things like that, and business picks up. They have that lean period. Usually Q1 is pretty lean because everybody's sick of shopping and there's not a lot of commerce, basically. So usually the stores will go into that with some cash, and that's how they get through the next few months. These stores don't have the cash. They don't have the way to get to the next few months. There's no more loan provisions really in this package like there were before. They're not getting paid to keep their employees as much as they were in the last package. There's more money for unemployment, but it's not enough. It is not enough. And we are avoiding facing the consequences of what's happening. And we're doing a great job of it. Great job. Dow's up 250 today. But it's avoidance. It's the reality does not match what's happening in the market. And all we're doing is paying for the fantasy. So this market is $1,000 hooker. And basically, this market will tell you all kinds of nice things and whisper in your ear and tell you how great you are and how wise your investing decisions are. And you're going to get these really pretty high-priced stocks. But they don't love you. They don't. They don't love you. They don't even like you. They just want your money. That is how this is. So think of it that way, okay? This market is a high price hooker. And it just wants your cash. And if you want to believe it, believe it. But that's what it is. It is what it is. All right, let's see if we have any questions. All right, no actual questions. So it's still me rambling on for no reason. All right, anyway, what do we talk about today? Oh, you know what we can do? We can catch up on other people's questions. So let's do that. That's fun. Let's see what chat questions we had. Talked about some stuff. Oh, I got to tell you, I was really impressed with this woman. I never really paid a lot of attention to her. But I said something here about being the bad. Oh, Trump. He's like, I was gonna play Behind Blue Eyes by the Who here, that link, but then when I was looking for that, Bad Guy or something came up by Billie Eilish. So I was playing that, listening to it, and then after that, it automatically played this next thing. This one blew my mind. She's so cool. She was with the Carpool Karaoke doing this thing, and she's a cool person. And then even more so though, then this video came on, and holy shit! I mean, I really don't like unreal sounds. Like I don't like techno stuff. I don't like pre-recorded things in music. But I gotta tell you, her brother is like a real artist. You know, he's basically just producing all the sound on her record electronically, and it's freaking brilliant though. And they put so much thought and so much effort into their work. It's like really cool. So I gotta tell you, it was very nice about her. And like I said, my daughters have always kept going on about her. I hadn't paid attention to her before. Anyway, so we talked about that a little bit. T-Step said he went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay, so we started talking about music. Pirate says American Manganese got a contract in the U.S. for heavy volume. That's probably good. That's probably good stock actually for the long term. I don't know what the prices are exactly. Del Talk says, what level do we get interested in Wheaton Precious Metal again? Wheaton Precious Metal was our stock of the year like 3 years ago. It totally went flying higher. Let's see. Hang on a second, let's get rid of that. Yes. La la la. Oh, and by the way, I definitely want to read more of these. This Rolling Stone story series was really good. I mean, I hope they do them all like that because it was a really great interview. Very interesting. You forget about Rolling Stone, but they're still around. They still do a good job. I was a big Rolling Stone person when I was a kid. I read every issue. Used to cut out the pictures, put them on my wall. You know, all the cool rock. I had such a great collection of rock pictures. My whole wall was like a total mural. By the time I went to college, I mean, basically 2 walls of my room were completely covered. It was like wallpaper. It's like there was nothing but pictures of rock and roll people that I had one by one cut out of magazines and taped to my wall. And I had all that. So I go to college, I come back, and my mother took them all down and painted my walls. I was so furious. Not just took them down, threw them away. Like boom, like didn't matter. I literally, from the time I was like 10 years old on, I made that wall picture by picture by picture, and she threw it away. I don't know why I bothered taking her out for dinners. I really don't. Anyway, so the question was, I just remember that. I hadn't thought about that in so many years. I'm so pissed. That my comics. She threw out my comics too. Holy crap. Oh God, how much money must that have been? So what level Wheaton Precious Metals again? The thing is, you know, they're up because gold and silver is up. And then you say, well, it's really a question of saying, you know, I like them when they're down because they make money anyway. They make money trading gold and silver. They're not like mining it. They're trading it. They buy it at a discount from the mines. They give the mines a contract and say, we will buy your gold. It's basically futures. We'll buy your gold for X, but they get a discount for doing it. It's routine in the metal system. You get a discount for buying future purchases, for making a long-term contract. So it's a discount to the current value. Now they're not stupid. They try to buy more when it's low and not buy more and not buy as many when it's high. And they try to keep their overall streaming contract low. So they get good prices. So when gold is in a crisis, it's a great time to buy Wheaton Precious Metals. We did this a few years ago because gold was stupidly low. Weeks is not going to cut it, I don't think. Oh yeah, it does. Look at that. Okay, so here. So gold was down here. I don't remember if it was this year. It was probably this year that we did. It was 2000. It was going to be our 2016 stock of the year, 2017, one of the two. But gold was stupidly low, around $1,200, $1,100, whatever it was. And for me, I'm like, that's basically going to be the bottom. The mining and extraction cost for a typical mine is around $1,050. Barrick is more like $850. That's why I like Barrick. They keep their cost at the industry low. They don't do it because they're better at mining than other people. What they do is they buy a portfolio of mines. They'll buy a whole mining company's portfolio of mines. They'll make what improvements they can because certain extraction cost depends on many things. So yes, they are experienced. They do have the best equipment and they have the best engineers. So they're going to get the most out of a mine. So they'll buy a portfolio of mines in bulk from another mining company that's going bust or needs to sell or whatever. And they'll buy good and bad, okay, because that's the way they get sold. But what they then do is they will then evaluate all their holdings and they will decide the ones they can get the cost down to their 850 zone, they keep. Everything else they sell off. So they are constantly buying and selling mines, but they keep the good ones, they sell the bad ones. They specifically only sell their expensive mines. So it's a brilliant operation, Barrett, but bottom line is they're a lot cheaper than everyone else, and they're still 850. Most miners are in the 1050 range. So when gold is down around $1,100, it's basically not going to go any lower. It can't. Once you hit this level, it is no longer worth pulling it out of the ground. So it's a self-policing commodity, okay? It's not, nobody's going to go and mine gold at a cost of $850 if you can only sell it for $850. You're better off leaving it in the ground and don't spend the money. You're only depleting future value. You can't physically pull it out of the ground for a profit, then don't pull it out of the ground. So that's what does it. So prices will go down, they'll stay down for a bit and whatever. Now, we're into a serious thing where we've doubled, more than doubled the price, right? 1,700 is more than double. And like I said, 1050, so 2,100 is really 100% higher than the 1050 most people have for cost on gold. That's a tough barrier to get over. But don't forget, the miners are making maximum profit right now. Now, Wheaton Precious Metals is also making maximum profit because they bought their gold in long-term contracts at these prices. How long are the contracts? That's the question. The contracts are generally 3-year contracts. Therefore, by this time, all of their contracts are for gold at this price. Okay, at the January 19, 2019 price. The prices start going up. So what's Wheaton Precious Metal doing? They're buying less contracts, right? What are they doing here? They're not buying many contracts. But what happens now? Now they've only got 1 year worth of contracts left. They didn't buy many during the upturn. So unfortunately, should prices keep going higher this year, they will be forced, because, or they shut down their business, they will be forced to keep buying at the higher price. And then they've got streaming contracts locked up for 3 years at this price. And if the prices start going down, they are hurt badly. So this was a safe year to play them, and we did. You know, this was a safe year to play them, and we did. This was a safe year to play them. This is the year they took off. Yeah, that was what it was. It was this year. It was 2019 stock of the year. I remember that because they came down nicely into the holidays, and then they took off, and we had a fantastic year. In fact, I think by this time we already were like selling some of them because we had a pretty conservative spread. Then we went with another. Then it dipped, and we did another spread. We played them twice during the same year. Was that last year? It couldn't have been last year. It must have been over here then. God, was it that long ago? I don't know. Bottom line is, anyway, we played it. I remember we had a really nice time. Then it came back down, and we played it again. Anywho, so bottom line is, this is what happens, though, right? Run up, run up, run up, and then they start having problems because you don't know what's going to happen to them. You don't know. They're running out of time to coast on the contracts they have, and they've got to provide deals. They also, on the other hand, have contracts with their customers. Now, on the other hand, they get contracts with their customers at very high prices, so it sustains them, but it's not as profitable if the gold prices are going down. They've got customers who will break their contracts, so on and so forth. So when does it become profitable? I'm sorry, when does it become attractive as a good investment? Honestly, really not until it gets back down into the 20s. So there's no inherent value to the company. You're basically betting on the ability of the company to make money, kind of like a REIT, right? Except the REITs tend to own property. These guys don't own anything. They buy contracts. It's like a mortgage REIT. Let's put it that way. So it's like a mortgage REIT. The mortgage REITs don't own anything of value. They buy mortgages and they sell mortgages, and they hope to make money on the spread. That's what these guys are doing. They're buying contracts and selling contracts, making money on the spread. All right, so it's a little tricky once they're this high. That's why we haven't looked at them, we haven't played them, they haven't been interesting. You know, it's the kind of stock where if they ever take a huge dip, I go, oh, look what Wheaton Precious Metal is. Let's grab that. Like this, look, see? So uppity up, up, then crashes, right? Then uppity up, up, and then big long decline, which is probably what's going to happen now. We're doing the big nice up, huge big bounce. You're going to say we're here pretty much. Okay, we're here, over here. So we're basically around here, and we're probably going to go up and down and up and down, but you're in a downtrend. And then when it gets back down around here, I'm going to say, holy shit, do I love this stock? And you're going to say, oh, you told me you didn't like it. I do like it. I don't like it at this price. I like it when it's cheap. It's not cheap. Therefore, just move on. Don't play if you can't win. So, oh, look at this. AT&T is our value pick for 2021. What madman is saying this? AT&T impressive portfolio, blah, blah, blah. The company performed admirably. I agree. Going forward, we expect them to keep paying dividends, restart the share buybacks. In 2021, we expect shareholders to realize, okay, well, whatever. Okay, who's going to argue that? That's what I said. Thank you, Batman. Oh, and here's Yodi taking credit for it. As if I didn't mention it. That's all right. I've been preaching with you. All right. No one's in Amgen this morning. The purchase of 100 stock only with the armchair play brings you to 500 a month. Even Phil can buy dinner with it. Not the place I ate last week. So let's see. Amgen. I didn't see Amgen this morning, so let's see what they're up to. Oh, look, Pfizer. How's Pfizer doing today? They should be doing good. They got a boost on their purchase. So they're up about 2.5%. AMGN. I think Pfizer. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's not bad. 220. I mean, it's always hard to pick stocks at a 220, but let's see where they are. AMGN. Oh, it's a very good company. Whoosh. What is this? Oh, I see. Here we go. Wow. No, I don't think I'm going to like that. I mean, wow. Look at that stock. You think they were 222? Let's take a look. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Only 17, 18 times earnings. And now, see, now then comes the question, are we going to give them a break? See, it's not, well, I guess I'll look at Yahoo. The other thing up. So 129 billion, keep that in mind. That's the market cap right now. They make 10 billion a year. So in fact, oh, that's expensive. Sorry, that's not profit. Net income, net interest income, earnings. This is their earnings. Okay. So, all right. So yeah, they make 10 billion a year. So they make 10 billion a year. So actually, this is the thing, because Yahoo is very strict. They call that an 18 PE. Why? Because I'm sure their quarterlies aren't very good. Let's take a look at their quarterlies. And whose are? No, they're not bad either. What's this about? Net income continuing. I don't get it. I guess they're probably coasting in. They're probably coming in around 8, and they're not going to hit 10 this year. That's basically what the complaint is. But I would not downplay this. So anyway, so the bottom line is that their PE is deceptively higher than it really is. Their growth is amazing. And what is the name of that thing that I use? Oh wait, I could find it. Bookmarks, Left Apple. No. Thought I have it on my Left Apple. Middle Apple. It's not on my Middle Apple. Left Dell. Oh, Left Dell. That's it. Stock ranks. That's what I was thinking of. That's the right thing. Am I signed in? Can't see. Yeah. All right. So net profit. Oh no. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. It's not as good as we thought. It's operating profit. We were looking at the operating profit. This is net profit. So 7.3 So 8, 7.8, and the earnings are steady. They projected them to go up higher. They're not being hit hard by the thing. They are going to be around $10 billion, a little bit less. So price is good. Net profit. Look at the chart over there. I can't do the two at the same time, but can I? Come on, pop up. Ooh, now it's not behaving. There we go. Okay, so net profit. Oh, there we go. See, it's tricky. So basically steady growth. Who knows what happened this year? I haven't investigated. But here you go. And that's not really what you forgive them for. I can't believe they're going to do that in 2020. That's pretty damn good. And they're going here, and biotech is hot, and people will be investing in the sector, and there's going to be M&A rumors flying around. So yeah, they're a good pickup. I got to agree with that. And probably you can do some fun stuff with the options also. Tango says it seems Trump's real problem with the bill is a 2-year limit on the business lunch. Oh, he's on TV now. Trump demands change to the stimulus bill. Batman says, oh, he's throwing the Yodi. He's pro. Oh, Apple is kicking ass in 5G. Holy cow. They've already got like a huge market share, like 25-30% already, the 5G market. Android's got problems. Isn't that nice? It's Macau. That's fun. I want to go there. I want to go somewhere. I want to leave. I got to get out of this place. All right, so fuel cell came back apparently. LQDA. And T-Shroy saying that I apologize, but I'm seeing all over different medias that the stimulus bill contains a lot of money for foreign countries. Okay, it's not just a stimulus bill. It's also a $1.4 trillion regular government spending bill, which routinely includes money for foreign countries. We do things all over the world. We spend money all over the world, and it usually doesn't, and by the way, it's millions usually. And $1 billion for the Smithsonian, that's our freaking national museum. So yeah, we budget money for the Smithsonian. That's what we do. It's our big national museum. It's not like a regular national museum. It's not like the National Museum of Iraq or something like that, which is in somebody's basement. This is a freaking Smithsonian. It's also in the basement. It's underneath the Capitol. You know, that whole area where Washington Monument is and everything like that. All those buildings around there. With the Lincoln Memorial and stuff, the Smithsonian's all over the place there, and it's underneath, and there's all the archives and all the art and all the history of this country. And it's been neglected for a long time, so I'm glad they got their funding. So, you know, if you take that, whoops, speaking of streaming, but, you know, it's people don't realize if you take that $1 billion and you divide it by 330 million people, it's $3 a person. All right, that's how much it costs to maintain your national museum. $3 a person for everybody in this country. I've been to the Smithsonian. You've been to the Smithsonian. It's $3. It's free to get in. But that's not the point. The point is Trump's bringing up a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with the stimulus bill. It has to do with the government funding package that he's also holding up at the same time. We have a 1-week stay until the government shuts down. We have an extension. Under this extension, the $1.4 billion government spending that is required for the quarter, not even for the year, it's 1 quarter for the government, has been funded along with an additional $900 billion in stimulus. Trump has basically put a hold on both of them, and the clock is going to run out, and the government will shut down in, I don't know, probably this weekend. Let's see. When will the government shut down? There you go, good question. Congress votes to avert a shutdown 5 days ago, 1 week stopgap to keep the government going. So we'll run through December 18th. Oh dear, wait, it's after December 18th. Did they do another one? They must have done another one. This can't be right. Okay, so, oh, you bastards, freaking advertising. All right, so. See, the $1.4 trillion appropriations piece would keep the federal government running through September 30th. Oh, that's impressive. The government would shut down Tuesday if it doesn't become law by then. So, right now, Trump, this is the power play that he's doing. Trump has the ability to not do anything. And if he doesn't do anything, he doesn't veto it, and he doesn't approve it, the bill will sit on his desk for 10 days before Congress has a right to pass it. If he does nothing for 10 days, Congress can pass it anyway. But that's 10 days from yesterday, I guess they gave it to him. So that's going to be, let's say, this is 8, 9, 10. So basically, on New Year's Day, I don't know if it's 10 calendar days, but it's, let's say basically this weekend, New Year's Day weekend, the government will. All right, the government shuts down Tuesday. When was this written? Couldn't be this week. December 23rd. It is. Well, no, today's Tuesday. Okay, so they mean a week from now. All right. So the government will shut down in a week, which is the 29th of December. And he doesn't have to sign the bill until the 10th day, which is January 1st, basically. So until then, Congress is frozen. They can't do anything, even if they want to. You have to wait for him to make a decision until the 10th day. At that point, if he doesn't veto it, it goes through, it passes automatically. If he does veto it, then Congress has to reconvene, have a vote, and override him by a substantial majority, like 2/3 majority in both houses. So that will take a few days. So he's basically just holding us hostage at this point, and he can play with it for a week and have fun and make threats and make deals and do backroom things and all sorts of stuff he gets to do because he's holding this all this money hostage that the country needs. So when you hear about this foreign spending and such, it's the appropriations legislation. It's not the COVID relief bill at all. That's your president lying to you. That's Trump. That's Trump pretending that the items that are in the appropriations bill, which is a normal functions of government bill that we've approved and talked about and argued about for many years and compromised on already, that money that's being spent has nothing to do with the COVID relief bill at all. But he's taking those items from the COVID from the government bill, since they're being passed together, and claiming that that's part of the COVID package. And it's very easy to confuse people because nobody really understands how the government actually works. So we've got The eviction moratorium, by the way, is critical. People are going to be basically starting eviction processes. You got tens of million people losing their homes, of course. The unemployment runs out. All sorts of horrifying things happen if he doesn't sign this thing. Just total frickin' disaster. It takes days for Congress to formally send Trump a bill of that size, 5,000 pages. It hasn't even come to his desk yet. The president could kill. Oh, that was 23rd. No, that's today. I don't know what they mean by hasn't come to his desk. Really? That seems weird. President could kill legislation through the pocket veto. It does not get to until Thursday or later. He could let the window run out. And the next session of Congress is not until January 3rd. So officially, they really can't even do anything about it until January 3rd if he lets it run out. And of course, obviously, we've been talking about this bill for weeks. It was the Republicans that have been blocking it. And the main reason they were blocking it is because Democrats wanted $2,000 of direct payments. Trump said no. The Republicans said no. They compromised back to $6,000. And now Trump is coming back and saying, let's make it $2,000. But it's got nothing to do with that. He's in no way, shape, or form wants to make it 2,000. What he wants to do is just hold the thing up. It's got nothing to do with what he wants or if he wanted more people. He could have gotten behind the Democrats and told the Republicans to pass it 2 months ago. I mean, it's just completely insane situation. So we'll see what happens. But there's more craziness, right? What are your thoughts on CDE here? We played them a while ago. Well, they're probably booming up, so it's I can tell you I'm probably not going to like it. Core Mining, they're a good little company, though. I really like. Oh man, look at that! Almost $10. Ooh, that makes me sad. We played them way long time ago. Oh yeah, I got to do the chart. Wait, what? Oh, it's always like that. So, oh well, this is a super long-term chart. I forgot when we played them, but they were like down. They were down in this zone, and I was like, that's a good one at this price. And again, let's keep in mind the way I like to invest. Okay, it's like I like to invest very simply and pick up things that are a great value at the price they are, and then just wait. It's very boring value investing. I will then use options to make it more exciting, but on the whole, I want to find bargains, and sometimes you don't find bargains. Sometimes things are not on sale. All right. So I mean, I've got great interest in CDE down here. I don't even mind it at $5 probably, but now you're up at $10. You're looking at a $2 billion market cap. All right, $2.4 billion market cap. And now we go back to my handy dandy thingamajiggy. CDE. You can't change that. If you change that, it messes everything up. You can only do the lookups properly. And sometimes not even that. Is it going? What's wrong with you? No, I guess I should look. I guess I should just bring this up instead of going back and forth, right? Crazy. Anyway, so look, they don't really make any money. So, but that's it was an investment thing. They've been through a heavy investment cycle. So let's say what we say 2 point something billion. I mean, they're coming into that cycle where they should start making money, but it's a small mining operation, and the price of gold, again, you're at a toppy price of gold. These projections are based on it staying toppy. If the world does start going into like a depression sort of thing, and the dollar gets stronger, then it's not going to be good for gold. And gold has a long way to drop because it's actually very expensive right now. Or on the other hand, you could say the currencies are all going to crash. I mean, I don't know how the dollar held up. We were watching to see if it would hold the line at 90. And barely holding the line at 90. And this is where it should be bouncy. But your problem now is Brexit agreement is going to be good for the euro and good for the pound. So they could both break up at this point. These are weekly charts. This is very strong lines. These guys could both break up. And they are, together about maybe 40% of the money in the world. And the dollar is pretty much all the rest of it. The dollar is like, the dollar is close to 60% of the money in the world. And these guys are 40, and the rest are basically insignificant. So I think it's like dollar is basically very close to 40, close to 60, 50 something percent of the money is the dollar. The euro is 30 something percent, and then the rest just have to squeeze into what's left. And England is it doesn't add much, frankly. It's a 1% currency or something like that. It's actually big compared to most currencies. That's because they were colonial, right? They spread the pound all over, and people still to this day think the pound is a very good instrument for cash. All their former colonies still think pounds are good things. And that's kind of what they felt slipping away by being in the EU. So they're kind of they want their pound back, basically. So these guys are trending up, and we are trending down. Even Canada coming back nicely. Look at that, from 70 cents to the dollar. That's crazy, right? Now it's 77 cents. Still good though. Still great when you go on a trip there. Really fun. Makes everything so cheap. All right. Anyway, so that's all the excitement we have there. Nothing else going on really. Other than that, holiday time to relax, time to enjoy. I mean, it's not a time to go chasing things. I'm very, very, very surprised that the market hasn't pulled back. I mean, it seems very weird to me because just why wouldn't you take the profits off the table? I mean, it's almost certain that Biden is going to raise capital gains taxes. So why wouldn't you want to lock in and take that money off? It doesn't make any sense. And you guys got to think about it too. It's like, take your profits this year while they're cheap, because next year you can get taxed a lot more. And if you think about it, let's say, for example, so let's say you have $100,000 profit, and you're going to get taxed at a 20% rate. And that's $20,000 or 15%. What is capital gains rate? I don't know. What is capital gains rate? Capital gains tax rate. Oh, it does change. That's why I couldn't remember what it was. Depending on your tax, okay, that's why it's 20. All right, so it's not necessarily at 20. You have to be making $500,000 to pay 20. So anyway, so depending on where you are, but let's say, for an example, you're a wealthy person and you're paying the 20% rate. So let's say you make $1 million and you cash it out now, and you pay 20%, 0.2 is $200,000, right? Now, if next year Biden bumps it up to 30%, then you're going to pay $300,000 in tax, right? So now you could have $800,000 tax-free now and invest that next year, and you're only paying tax on the profit of the $800,000. You're going to make the same profit reinvesting. You're not going to lose the profit, but you are going to take your taxes off the table. If you don't do that, then next year, instead of paying, you would pay, so in other words, let's say 800,000, let's say you made $1 million this year, because it's a really good year, and you pay 200,000 in tax if you cash it out now, and you have $800,000 sitting there, you reinvest it. But let's say you let your $1 million ride, you don't pay the tax, right? So you don't pay the tax until you cash it out. And then next year you make another 20%. So then you have $1.2 million, but now you got to pay 30%. Whoops. 1.2 times 0.3 is $360,000. So you got the same. So now you end up netting $40,000. I just want to be very clear that you guys understand that, right? If you take $1 million now and you cash it at a 20% rate, you're going to have 800,000 tax-free cash. You can reinvest that next year, and the market goes up another 20%. You're going to make 160,000 more dollars, and you'll pay 30% tax on that. But if you wait and you collect 1.2 million, they're going to take $360,000 back, and you're going to have you'll make 40,000 more than if you don't take a chance. With $800,000, you're only going to make 40,000 more dollars, 5%, and that's if the market goes up 20%. So the market has to go up 20% next year for you to make 5% more money. It's not worth it. And that's what I don't understand. I mean, that's what it's baffling me now. I don't understand why people are not taking money off the table like they should be. It's not just the risk of possibly going the other way. It's the almost certainty that we're not going to have this kind of capital gains tax rate in the future. So, you know, anything that you have that's a long-term hold that came in from before last year or whatever, and you've made great money and you've got a company sitting at record highs and so on and so forth, take it off the table while you can. There's going to be other things to invest in. There's always going to be companies that disappoint or whatever, like AT&T, right? Obviously. We were just talking about that. So we have AT&T that we were just discussing that some people are seeing as a huge value stock. Oh, man, what did I just do? Shoot. So, you know, there are people who are seeing this as a great value stock. I like also China Mobile. And I think it's got the same bottom that AT&T does at 28. I think that's a ridiculous thing. Yes, they have this whole bullshit about delisting Chinese companies and restricting trade and all this other stuff. I don't think it's going to be a thing. I don't think it's going to end up coming out that way, because it's just going to lead to like a ridiculous sort of war of regulations that nobody's going to win. You know, and it's brinksmanship, and Trump's people love to say stupid shit that they're never going to follow through on and make up rules. And just like the tariffs and just like the taxes, oh, we're going to stick it to China, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And at the end, nothing really happened. Nothing. They got no concessions out of China at all. The trade negotiations did nothing. All it did was cost the farmers a ton of money. We ended up having to bail them out before we had to bail out everybody else. It's a disaster. Horrible, horrible negotiating tactic. And now he's using that negotiating tactic on the elections. He's using that negotiating tactic with the stimulus package, and it's the same bullshit. And he's using it again with China to threaten their stocks and their markets. Why is he doing it? Probably to get a cushy job for Ivanka or something like that. It's not for you. It's not to help you. Meanwhile, Russia has infiltrated like half of our computers with viruses that's stealing all the information from all of our companies and all our institutions and so on and so forth. And they does nothing, not a word about that. That's fine. China looks at him funny and he starts like a war with them, and Russia is like rampaging over our country and destroying us, and that gets no mention at all from the Putin puppet. It is horrifying what's happening here. Jassy says, Phil, does anyone on the site know if Pfizer has a COVID vaccine which is made in China? It is administered as a vaporizer cartridge, single dose use. I don't know anything about it. That seems highly unlikely that they would have so let's see, they just developed the vaccine here. They've already sent it to China and had it aerosolized, even though the vaccine that they've developed requires it to be kept at an extremely low temperature and wouldn't possibly be able to work as an aerosol. It would obviously kill it as soon as you spray it into the air. It would kill the vaccine. It just seems highly unlikely that that's happening. How, you know, they're keeping these things at minus 100 degrees basically to keep these things safe. You're gonna put them in an aerosol cartridge. That just seems like basically there's almost no chance at all that's true. And what would you do? Inhale like super frozen whatever? I don't think so. I would say no. That's my guess. If I have to guess on that news, I would say that is very fake news. All right, well, I gotta wrap this up. I do not have a lot of time. I gotta get back to my calls. My phone is like buzzing off the hook, basically. It's crazy. We're working on this deal with BlackRock. We are possibly going to get BlackRock to invest with us. We're not going to get a big piece of this PSW Investments, but we're going to get a piece for arranging the whole thing. We were working with a hemp farm. I tried to raise more money last year. I tried to raise more money, but we didn't get enough money from our own investors, so we couldn't participate, which is a freaking shame because we needed to get like a good $500,000 together, and we didn't get enough money. And now basically that's up 10 times from where we would have been from last year. And now BlackRock's coming in, taking a much bigger piece, and hopefully they're going to take about $30 million for this project. And so it's now the second round, and we still don't have the cash ourselves. So we brought in investors, and we ended up moving up the pecking order. So now we're talking to some real heavyweights for this hemp farm that we're doing. It's not just a hemp farm, though. We're also developing a system that turns hemp into plastic and also hemp into building materials. Hemp makes a real good base for particle board that is it's safer and actually more effective as an insulator than what they use now for particle board. So it's great for the housing industry, and hemp grows much quicker, and it sucks up a lot of CO2 and everything. It's a really fantastic material for this sort of thing. So we've been involved in this project, and we're getting about $30 million to move it forward, and we're going to end up owning, I don't know, maybe 5% of it or something like that. But 5% of this thing could be billions. You know, this could become a huge operation. So right now, and especially backed by Blackstone, they're not doing it because they think it's going to only be a $100 million operation. So they are looking to bump this thing up to a really good level. So I'm back and forth on all these negotiations and trying to make everything work and keeping everyone together. And I do have a good feeling about it, though. I think we're actually going to close it. So that'll be very nice. And then, you know, it'll take a while for it to kick in, but it'll be very good when it does. So I'm excited about that one. And we have a couple other projects in the works. The investors are starting to come out of the woodwork, mostly because the market is so expensive that nobody, you know, people want to put money in other things besides the stock market. And things that have a chance of going public down the road are starting to seem very attractive. So we're putting ourselves in a position for that, using projects that we already have an interest in to be able to leverage and bring in investment capital. That's what we're doing right now in these lean times. We're just trying to be a player and get in the middle of things. But anyway, so that's it, man. We have one more of these webinars for the year on the 30th. And again, I doubt anybody's going to be here for that one either. It's going to be right before New Year's. Oh, you know what? My daughter's going to be here. I don't even know if I'm going to do a webinar next week. My daughter's here. She comes on the 28th, and maybe I'll do the webinar Wednesday. All right, we'll see. We'll leave that up in the air. But my daughter's here, and I want to see her. She's driving all the way down. This is the second time she's done this for me. She came down in the spring, and now she's driving down again, and we're going to hang out, and it's going to be great. I'm very excited. But I hope all you guys have a wonderful time. I hope you get to spend some time with your families and have a really good Christmas. And hopefully this virus thing is winding down, and hopefully the markets aren't going to collapse. And maybe we'll have some interesting stuff. And push comes to shove, first quarter earnings.